What's up? We back again for another episode of Beyond the Wall, a segment dedicated to those who were formerly incarcerated and to give an ear to those who are still incarcerated. Just to let you know that you are not forgotten. I have with me a special guest, my friend and yours, Khalil. What's good, brother?
Khalil,
You good?
what's good?
How you feeling?
Man,
you good, brother?
Everything is wonderful.
Man, you a hard brother to get a hold of, man. You busy.
Man,
Let me tell y'all something before he started. I hate to cut him off. I could text this man, right? He won't answer his text, but I can call him. Whoop, he don't answer his phone.
That's driving. I'm not trying to break no laws. Hey.
Yeah, I know.
Texting, you can't text and drive out
I know
here.
That's right.
You know, because I used to be on the road and listening. I'm listening to the keys like, but I really stopped trying to text and drive, especially. It ain't. I'm an excellent driver.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a professional driver. I got a
sir.
CDL and
That's
all
right.
that. But
You
man,
sure do.
everybody around you, whoo! I said,
right.
nah, these fools getting crazy out here. So I
right.
said, let me stop texting and driving.
But you
now I
always
got to
return
drive
the
for
call,
every. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that. Well, and then depend on who it is. So you, my brother.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
gonna make sure. Let me hit him back.
Yeah.
Unless I'm in a meeting, but
Unless
no.
you're in a meeting.
I mean, just with everything going on in Arizona, though.
Yes, sir.
I mean, it's so much going on. You know, so many folks getting out of prison, and it ain't just them getting out.
Yeah.
It's like, how do we help them stay out? So I'm making myself available and ready to help other folks too. So I mean, it that's what makes me busy.
Yeah.
And I'm watching policies that become barriers,
exactly.
which we'll talk about, and then just the mentoring piece.
Yeah. For those that don't know Khalil's story, I'm sure you do if you're watching this. Tell the audience and tell the viewers about you and your journey.
Absolutely. So I was a good kid, you know, because I was more like, I mean, people undermine that word nerd, but I used to love school. I loved like digging in the books back then and you know, social studies and all of that. So I mean, school was always cool up until you get to that junior high level.
Yeah.
Because I got to thinking like, what made me run away and start selling drugs and stuff, and it was just like, you know, in elementary, nobody cared how you showed up. We was kids. Kickball, you know, you get to school. Right, you get to school, it's PE, and it's just, you know, a recess, and you playing kickball. Nobody care what you got on. You out there playing, you do your homework, go play again, eat lunch, go back, do your work, and then you go home. Yeah. And but when you get to junior high, pressure starts. People really start focusing on he's showing up in pro wings and all this and holes in his jeans. Oh yeah, Croker sack. I mean, but I say this because we were poor, and so we were poor not because my mother didn't. You know, my mom was a nurse, and she got into an accident and she ended up getting glass in her back, and so the job laid her off because they couldn't get all the glass out of her back. Yeah. And so I remember like we went from, you know, having things to just like things going south like within a year. So my mom started sending kids to live with they dads and you know, I'm the it's 8 of us. I'm the second to the youngest.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So 6 boys, 2 girls. And so the reality of that, at 13, when I went into junior high, you know, I started like, man, I got talked about. Yeah. I had to learn. That's how I can bag real good today because I got bagged on, you know, and so. You know, pressures mount, what they call bullying nowadays. It was just like pressures mount because, you know, I didn't want to go to school with patched up clothes and you know, so I, at first, you know, we would go to like Miller's Outpost and we would run in there and just do clothes runs. We would just get clothes, try them on. Yeah, it's our size. Yep. Yeah, it's a word. We gone. Yeah. And so from there, you know, a lot of folks around me who were families were poor, they really start getting involved into the mix of selling drugs because like all of that migrated east from LA. Sure did. And so you know, I was introduced to selling drugs, you know, and my first introduction to it, I messed up you know, I sold the drugs and went to the arcade and spent all the money and got beat up for it. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that no more. But nah, I ended up going into selling drugs and running away from home because my mom was like, look, if you're going to do that,
you can't be here.
You can't be here.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I made an emotional decision, not a rational one, because I knew what I was doing was wrong. And I can accept that and take the responsibilities today. But I mean, I made an emotional decision because I'm like, man, I ain't gonna be poor. Ran away. So long story short, you know, as I grew, I started getting into selling more weight and distributing and you know, getting on a Greyhound for other people. And so my mom was always like, you know, I don't want you doing that. You're going to end up dead or in jail. So her solution was to send me out of state to Arizona and stay with my brother.
Because you really from LA, right?
Well, Riverside.
Yeah. Okay.
So Southern Cal.
Yeah.
And so with that being said, you know, I come out here thinking I'm getting away from things. And my plans was really to try, because I was good at sports.
Yeah.
Good at basketball and all of that. And so my plan was to try to, you know, get my grades together and try to walk on at the U of A.
Oh, okay.
The Wildcats.
Yeah.
And that never materialized because, you know, the people around me out here was selling even more dope or drugs than the folks in California.
They started pulling you like, come on in.
Yeah, introduced me to a whole new level of things. So, you know, Tucson is small.
Yeah.
And so I kept getting pulled over by the police, you know, and I would have my drug stash. But at this point in time, I was like, you know what, there got to be a better way. So I decided to become middleman.
Oh, okay.
And so I don't have drugs on me. I'm not selling anything. I'm just putting parties together.
Yeah. I'm connecting the dots.
Correct. So with that being said, you know, after doing this a number of times and nothing happening, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm cool.
Yeah.
I can make $4,000 to $8,000 a day. Don't have to worry about nothing. Just go and clean up the spot, make sure everything is put up. And so one day, the buyers decided to rob the seller. And I'll say that because, you know, there are no statutes of limitation. On these cases, so I don't really. But long story short, I come back to the house and they carrying the cat out. And so, you know, a gun gets drawn on me, and then you know, cats end up leaving, putting the cat in the car and going on. So you know, from there it was like, hey, let's handle this in the street.
Yeah.
Totally wrong objective, because over here where I'm trying to handle this in the streets, over here law enforcement is looking for me. The buyers, you know, who he worked for, his family is looking for me. So, you know, and then the police tracked me down, or tracked my family down all the way back to Southern California, and I didn't stand a chance because so many people was like, oh yeah, he did this, he did. Yeah, they was pointing at like I did it.
Yeah.
So they end up arresting my younger brother, and for somebody, you know, and it even hurts me to today that I tracked mud into my mom's house of this magnitude.
I got you.
So you know, when the police ran into my mom's house, and then they arrested my little brother, you know, I ended up turning myself in after talking to some family members, like, you know, what are you gonna do if you didn't do it? Prove you're innocent. Yeah. So in the long short of things, like, I ended up getting my gun, turning it in, taking fingerprints, doing polygraph to clear my name. But the bigger goals of law enforcement was like, okay, when they're talking to people down in the town, in the city, and they're saying, oh, well, he's involved in this, he did this.
They wanted somebody to pin it on.
Well, and then they wanted more people because they saying, oh, well, he's part of a bigger organization. And so they wanted, long story short, they wanted me to become an informant. And so, you know, I'm like, well, look, I'll clear my name, but I'm not doing X, Y, and Z. So, you know, at that time, that, you know, it's not even unpopular. I mean, it's not even popular to clear your name and you know, so yeah, there was people like, oh yeah, he's working with the police, this and that, and it's like, nah, because, you know, I'm the only one who went to prison at the end of the day.
Exactly.
But long story short, at the end of this, the alleged shooter ended up getting arrested.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
He goes to trial. I refuse to testify. So once he gets acquitted, the county attorney turns around and not only charged me with the murder, but he railroads me. He builds a case.
Of course.
So all the things that I did to clear my name goes away.
Wow.
And then the statements that I made as to what transpired
They're
becomes
like,
a confession.
Oh wow.
So yeah, they twisted everything, and this is why
That's
I
how
tell.
they do.
Yeah, this is why they say don't talk to the police at all. Even when you know you didn't do nothing, you're trying to clear your name, you don't talk to them at all. And so, you know, long story short, I get railroaded. End up with a life sentence without the possibility of parole for 25 years. And then I do 15 and a half of that 25 before my case was finally overturned due to prosecutorial misconduct and vindictiveness. And so, you know, upon my release, it was really an eye-opener, because like now I'm putting together like the first day, or excuse me, the first year I went to prison, I was done. I said, you know what? It ain't worth selling drugs and all that. I'm gonna get me a job. If they ever let me up out of here,
Scared
I'm
straight.
done. Yeah, I mean, and it's just more like it, because I had time to think. I didn't have the distractions.
There you go.
And started to realize, like, wait a minute, what is all this worth? What is all this worth? And the youngsters I talk to now, I disrespected my mama. I didn't graduate, you know, and so like now the impacts of my decisions then is there's puzzles, there's patches of my life that's gone that I can't get back. So it's like that puzzle with the pieces you looking for and they gone.
Yeah, they gone.
And they're significant pieces.
Yeah.
You know, it might be the puzzle piece of the person's face in the puzzle.
Yeah.
You know, and you like, well, damn, I never knew what he looked like.
Exactly.
You know, unless
exactly.
but okay, so upon my release, 8 months.
Okay.
I'm out 8 months. I see my mom 4 times. She passed away. And so I just said, you know what? I got to change my life. I promised moms, you know, and the part that really has me cool. And you know, people say you're not upset. No, because I was able to apologize.
That was my next question.
I was able to apologize to my mom for, you know, I said, you raised me better than what I displayed. And I said, you know, I owe you an apology because all the stuff they went through. Mom's born in 1935 in Texas. You know, she didn't seen the racism. She didn't seen all of this stuff in Texas.
Yeah.
Growing up, and so I had to apologize because you know they went through it.
Yeah, they did.
And she worked hard, so we didn't have to go through it.
Yeah.
But what do? I run and jump right into it.
Head first.
Right. So now, you know, I mean, she passed, and that really hurt me to a point where I even questioned, why did I get out?
Wow, brother, that's deep.
Like I didn't, at that point, it was a danger. It was danger for me for that first year because I started drinking. You know, I'm trying to transition into a new world. It's like getting into a time machine, going 15 and a half years into the future.
So you really had no help when you got out. There was
no.
There was nothing like Piece of Joy.
No, I mean, because the transitional components was really just churches, and it wasn't a program. It was just churches saying, hey, you know, we'll welcome you in, we'll take you. Wasn't a lot of these nonprofits and DES and all these organizations. They wasn't looking at that. See, that didn't really become popular, and whether people agree with Obama administration or not, here in Arizona, a lot of that didn't become popular until that funding started coming through. You know, so there was people out here, Franz Beasley, AZ Common Grounds. Me and the brother don't see eye to eye on a number of things. But I'm gonna tell you, the brother and his program and what he's been doing for years. Yeah, good brother, good program, and he's morphed into advocacy for victims and all. I get it. But I say this, outside of him, and he wasn't even getting the support and funding. It was churches that was just doing it because, and so now when the money shows up, now everybody blah, 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 blah,
I want to help.
Right. So you know, so that I make that point to where I was like, you know, I got into truck driving.
Yep.
And I was like, man, it allowed me to start decompressing because it was like I had a prison cell on wheels.
Yeah.
You know, I put everything in storage. I was out on that truck, going from city to city. I was like BJ McKay and his best friend Bear. I don't know. Most people probably.
Oh man, you took me back.
Exactly.
Wow.
Man, I was out there. I was loving it, making money, legit.
Yeah.
But something just kept eating inside. Like, nah, go back and get at them fools. Go back and get at Arizona.
Okay.
Go back and get at the county attorney,
the
police for lying and all of that. And so I took a significant pay cut.
Of course.
Came back to Arizona and got back on the front line as a case manager.
Wow. At the ACLU when I first met you.
Well, so this was at Sage Council.
Sage, okay.
As a case manager, and then I felt like I was dealing with the symptoms of the problems. You know, as a case manager, you know, folks wasn't getting housed and they wasn't getting into careers, not just jobs, but actually giving folks stability. It's like you know, we give folks jobs or employ, they make money, but they don't have wealth. They're not creating wealth, and so at some point, it becomes a barrier or folks will jeopardize their freedoms to say, hey, you know what, I got to supplement my income because their needs are not being met. Right. So
it's almost like teaching somebody how to fish or giving them something to eat.
No, it's even, here's what I always say. You're right, though. It's teaching somebody how to fish, but also giving them a fishing pole that's going to catch what they need to catch. Also, I'm going to take you to a lake where fish is plentiful.
I got you.
Because what's happening now is folks is getting fishing poles and they sending them to dry lakes. Now, you might pull some bluegills out of there or something like that. But, you know, we are walking folks to where the fish is plentiful and making sure they have the tools to catch. You know, you want to catch a whale up out of there? Let's figure that out.
Figure it out.
Right. But you ain't gonna do it with a toothpick and a shoestring, or a piece of thread. Nah.
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Yeah. So I mean, just assessing those needs, making myself available, and just being a vessel of truth and progress. Like I don't deal with drama. You know, I take pride, man. I don't even like getting a traffic ticket because I don't. My interactions with the police is just, hey, here you go.
Yeah.
Here. Yep. Okay. And I've been profiled. I was coming out of Oracle. They pulled me over. You know, and it was funny. I just pulled over. I pulled myself over.
Yeah, I did.
It's funny because
before they put the lights out, there they go.
Right. Right. But all of this plays in because we're going the opposite direction. And
he did a U-turn.
Man, look, he was riding. It was two of them. It was DPS.
Come on. We
going the opposite direction, and we did just like this. We looked at each other, and I looked as he went by. I looked at my side rear view, and that fool turned around. I just immediately pulled over. So he said he clocked me and all this other stuff too. No, he didn't. He couldn't clock me going the opposite. But hey, here you go. Yep. Okay. Yeah. So, I'm gonna let you off with a warning. See, I guess I look like somebody who was doing X, Y, and Z, but it didn't add up. Yep, I'm legitimate.
Yeah.
And that's what I take pride in now. I'm legitimate. Here you go. Yeah. And so so being back here on the ground, being active in policy changes. So now I go to the ACLU and I'm saying, okay, let me stop chasing or dealing with the symptoms.
Yeah.
Let me deal with root causes, bad policies. overzealous prosecutions. We criminalize and incarcerate folks who have substance use disorders.
Yeah.
And so now our jails are filled up, but instead of this person, they'll charge them with a substance abuse related charge.
I got you. Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you a burglary, but you stole like meat. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
Or you stole batteries, to buy drugs.
To buy drugs with, yeah.
And so now the person goes into prison, don't have the resources. They get out. That substance, that addiction lays dormant, because some people say, hey, I've been sober, and I have to tell my guys, nah, you've been dry. Because now you get back into you go back, I call them vampires and zombies, when you go back around the associates or the environment, and you get bit, boom. You back.
Yeah.
You relapse.
Tell the audience about your business. What are you doing now?
So right now, I still do advocacy, and I'm commissioned in a nonprofit, AZ Village Network. So So it's a loose organization of formerly incarcerated folks, family members, direct service providers, and we're saying, nah, we're the real village on the ground. So the concept was put together, and most people thought it was the village people, and I was like, YMCA. Nah, we're YMCA. I looked at us as like the Smurfs. You see what I'm saying? Where it was 99 Smurfs, and each one of them had a skill that made up the whole village.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And so statewide,
So you Papa Smurf then, huh?
there's Papa Smurfs, because even with me,
I got you.
I didn't want to be. There's many chiefs of the village.
That's true.
And so first off, getting back to a level of respect of the elders. So I got, my guy Najee, David. These are my elders, so they village chiefs based on their knowledge and experiences.
And not make too light. I'm trying to do a joke, because Papa Smurf had Brandy Smurf. He had his chiefs. So you're right. He had his people in line. They just called him Papa because I guess
he was just Papa, probably the oldest.
He was just the oldest dude.
Because he had the beard. And then he was the only one that had the different uniform, Smurf uniform. Nah. But no, that was the concept of really bringing folks together, eliminating the attitudes and the disruptions and distractions. Say, hey, we're not going to agree on everything, but what could we work on together? So voting rights, workforce development, or creating an economic plan for folks who are coming out. A serious one.
Yeah, of course.
And so it was those type of things. That's the village.
Yes.
Okay, we're commissioning. Our World Universal was one of my goals of creating a social enterprise, because I do art. Yeah. And I'm not the best artist, but I have good designs up here, concepts, and I make them come to life. So I created an AZ Village standing together logo.
And
it's the A and the Z with the flag collaged into the design. So
you gotta see, I actually have one, and I'm thinking we should have a part 2.
Yeah, we're
giving a lot of information. You guys want to see a part 2? Yeah, I think so. We're going. This is our part 1. We're going to do a part 2 because Khalil has so much information he can share with not just me. I'm learning every time I sit with his brother. I learn something new each day. But AZ Village, the ACLU, his own nonprofit, the things he does advocacy for the formerly incarcerated. This brother does so much. So again,
it's hard to pack. Well, it's always hard for me to pack, 30, 35 years of my life into
25-minute podcast.
But no, but you have me. You got me. Like I said,
you, brother.
Anything that I can do to move things forward.
Yes, sir.
Share with your audience and even get them. Everybody can be a village member. It's really, it's no big I's and little U's. It's how can we help each other?
That's true.
Because at the end of the day, when the music goes off, we usually be the ones who don't have chairs to sit in.
Yeah.
And it's like, nah, we need to have chairs to sit in too.
That's true. Because I'm not doing this for me. Because I actually gave up podcasting. I turned my back on it. I turned my back on it. My whole vision now is to finish school, go to medical school so I could be a doctor.
And I feel once I'm a doctor on a board or a nonprofit,
Right.
we can do more. I
Absolutely.
can do more for the people, if that makes any sense. So once again, thank you, Khalil, for being here.
Absolutely, bro.
Man, I appreciate you, brother.
Absolutely.
Blackwater, y'all know it's sponsored by. Y'all got to check this out, Blackwater.
Go
Stay
get
stay
it.
focused. Peace.